What's up, everybody? It's Lionheart. It's Elton and 16. Welcome to the Pride Lands. Today, we're talking about this surprise box, mainly because I love this product. I love Prismatic Evolutions, as many of the rest of you do, but I think this product is just a really good product. If you guys don't know, I'm on a goal to get a full set of PSA 10 Jolteons, but I also would like to have a collection of sealed Jolteon products. And would you look? Who's that? Who's that spiky-haired boy right there on the cover? That's Jolteon. So I've been wanting to get one of these boxes. I got one a long time ago and released. It's over here. It holds a lot of my bulk, a lot of my reverse hollows, standard hollows, and non-hollow rares. That way it's going to be really easy if I ever take those in to turn them in one day. They'll be ready to go. And so that's what I've dedicated to it. It's a nice holder box. It's got dividers in it, included in it. It's great for it. Because if you didn't use that for this is a whole lot of waste of space. Let's talk about what's in this. Okay, you get four packs and a surprise pack, and a surprise card. 4 packs and a surprise card with dividers. That's what comes in these surprise boxes. So the space is not worth it. It's not optimal, but it looks good. It looks cool. You got the EV on the front, you got the logo, and it's pretty awesome. From the get-go, these things are supposed to sell at MSRP for, I think, like $22-23 or something like that, right? But from the second they came out, they were reselling at like 70 or 80, and I even saw people trying to sell them for over $100. I'm like, okay, it's prismatic, but I'm not doing it, right? I'm not doing it because that puts everything well over the sane price for prismatic. Like paying over $10 a pack is already kind of crazy for how terrible the hits are. But you know, supply and demand, it did not seem like they made very much of it. It was hard to find it, and the hits weren't great, so people needed more of it. And the hits you get from it are just still like the prices, even in this like Pokemon Crash, the prices are still like doing great. So why were these surprise boxes selling for so high? Well, it has to do with these stamped cards. So these stamped cards, I got a couple of examples of them, right? I've got a stamped Jolteon and a stamped Vaporeon, is what was driving the cost of these boxes. But right now, I think you're at a really good time to buy into these boxes if you have the availability to. Let's talk about why. I'm going to try to do this whole video with like one take without very much editing, because I just don't have a lot of time lately. So hopefully we can just get through all this without a lot of editing. So let's check this out. Here we are on the TCG player for the surprise boxes. Currently, they've got some listings unopened, 40.98. Okay, we're looking at market price 48.48. And as you guys can see, the huge downtrend. Like I said, you had some of these going in 70s and 80s, and I saw some listed on like Facebook and at card shows on eBay for 100. It doesn't look like they have reports on TCG player of sales like that happening. And then all of a sudden in April, you see a crash, boom, straight to the bottom, and then a lot of people buying here at this point right here to scoop them back up. It kind of drove the price back up a little bit. So you see like a weird beginning of a support line, like everyone's like, whoa, we can't let them fall that far, back up to the top, and then it dips down again for it to become what looks like another support line in the 50s mark. And this is when I decided, this 50s mark is actually whenever I decided, like, okay, I need in. So I told myself, if I see one at 50 on Facebook Marketplace or something like that, I will offer 45 to see if I can get any bites. And funny enough, that's actually what happened, except for it was 55. I said, well, you take 45. They said, we do 50. And I said, bet. And so we got ourselves a box. Kicking myself in the teeth because the next day I walk into Best Buy. I always just kind of like poke around, see what I can see. And sure enough, there's a shelf full of these boxes at MSRP. So I get my limit of 2. Even if they didn't have a limit, I probably only would have, maybe would have gotten 3 or 4, because then it would have been cool to open one more time. I like opening some when I can, especially at MSRP, but we didn't. So it's fine. I'm happy with the 2 that I have. I think they'll be a great thing to hold on to. So kicking myself because I bought one at 50, and just for it to be falling down at this 47 line. And it looks like we're beginning to see another support line. Like it may not drop any lower than this, which makes sense and math wise. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Okay. Let's remember this 47.89 or market price 48.48. Let's go check price charting really quick on these boxes. Okay. Price charting has a little bit different data. Price charting is looking at 57.83 for these boxes. And look at the sells that are happening. 52.56, 65, 68, 63, 77, okay? These happened yesterday. These all happened yesterday. So if we're looking about, and these are eBay sales, right? So on Facebook, I got it for $50. If I would have tried to buy it on eBay, this is what I've been looking at. And here's one down here. Like I said, oh, so 102, 103. This was yesterday and the day before. Okay. These boxes currently are outperforming like their what seems to be their like established market. It sounds like it very well seems like I could turn around and sell this one that I got for 50, 465, 470, 480. Like it sounds like I still got a good deal, but I'm just like saying, like, because I got that one, the two the next day at MSRP for like $22, $23 a piece. I'm just like, man, but whatever. We've got three now. That's room to wiggle with and figure some things out that I might want to do. But why are these boxes holding their value so well? Well, it comes down to this thing that I've been talking about this whole this trying to figure out a good way to flip cards. And I think I've identified this market that's just really important to a lot of people, and that is sealed stamped product. Okay. Inside these boxes comes with the potential of any evolution as a sealed stamped Probo. Let's take a look at what that means. Okay. Let's start here first. So these are all the cards you could be potentially looking at to get. Of course, Umbreon. Umbreon is king in these things. Ungraded, selling at 43.09. Next up is Eevee, of course, 1875. Sylveon at 18. Vaporeon at 16. Glaceon, Jolteon, Flareon, Leafeon, Espeon EX. So all of these come in stamps, and they vary in prices. Most of them sitting between the $18 and $14 range. These are sitting in this range on price charting, but if we click over to TCG Player, we see some different numbers, of course. Again, I know why this is happening, by the way, but 1051, 1139, 770, 29, difference between 43 and 29 on this Umbreon. This is because TCG Player doesn't have a way to account for sealed product being sold. But price charting doesn't really either, other than it can list it in cells. So if we go in and click on an Umbreon stamped and then look through the cells, you'll see sealed in the thing, sealed. This one, it does not say sealed, so I would assume it wasn't because it sold for 20. See the difference here? 45, 50, 20. These both say sealed. This one doesn't. There might be some outliers, but that's typically a good trend to see the cost. Well, this Umbreon, I believe, for a long time was driving the price of the boxes, but right now it does not seem to be doing so. So right now it seems like you can get these boxes at $48, $40. If you're seeing these on your local listings on Facebook for $50 and you can offer them $45 or $40, I think you should, because prismatic packs, single packs, are still sitting around the $10 range or higher, sometimes lower, depending on like where you can get them from, because you're probably not getting them at MSRP. You get 4 packs in here, that's $40. And then if you get the Umbreon, this is why it's good for collecting and holding or ripping. That's what I meant to say this whole time. These boxes are good for collecting and holding or ripping, because you are getting, if you get it at MSRP, you automatically, like, you're a legend, right? Because you got 4 packs of prismatic that you get to rip at $5 a pack. But then if you pull the Umbreon, think about how much money you make. But even if you pull the least card on here, let's go click back on it. Where was it? The least valuable card on here, this Espeon stamped $14. That's like and if you're able to sell that, that gets you down to even like $2.50 a pack, close to that. But let's look at the Espeon. But if it's gradable and you send it into $138 for the lowest of these hits, which is, I'm surprised, is the Espeon, by the way. Oh wait, you guys can't see that crap. Here you go. Here's what I'm looking at: $138 for the PSA 10 Espeon. So all that to be said, these sealed stamped promos, which I have 3 of them. I have this one that's not sealed, these 2 that are sealed. I'm trying to figure out if they're worth grading. I'm still evaluating them and still trying to figure out. I do currently like how the grades are coming back in the price that there is in that. So it's like, it does feel like there is a good reason to grade them. Other than if you get a 9, you just like, they're like not worth it, right? So that's a little tricky. So I might just keep them sealed and leave them in my personal collection. But this box itself just feels so good, because I think if the support line stays at $40 on the market, if you get one at MSRP, you're just set to sit on it, and I don't see it able to fall lower than the price of a pack, which is like, if for some reason Prismatic takes a hit because of this new Costco stuff that's coming out and all that, and goes down to like $7 or $8 a pack, then maybe you see this dipping down to like, I don't know, maybe $40, maybe $38. You will never see it in secondhand market drop to MSRP. There's just no way. But even if you so even if you buy it now at like I did, like at $50, I see it swinging back up. But it doesn't seem like people really like these. Like that's why I feel like the thing is dropping, but they feel like a really safe bet to me. So if you see these at your Best Buy, don't pass them up, scoop them up. And even if they're on a downward trend, I think they will turn around. I think they're at the lowest that they're ever going to get. I don't see them dropping much below 50, but if they do, they're only going to go up from there. So here's the reason why I believe in these stamped cards over other stamped cards, because not all stamped cards are made the same, right? Not all stamped cards are equal. So like, let's take up this Umbreon, for example. It's a GameStop Umbreon, and it's currently worth about like $20. And I've already had experience with this Umbreon. It was one of the first stamp cards that I found that I was like, oh, that's an Umbreon with a stamp on it, and I picked it up for like $7, and then it ended up turning it around for like $15. I was like, oh, maybe there's like potential in these like stamped promo cards from GameStop. But not all stamps are made equal, because this same Umbreon with the GameStop stamp has a trick or trade pack variant that is not worth nearly as much. So not all stamps are the same. But also, like, now we have this Zapdos with the GameStop stamp on it, right? And like currently this goes for like $25 or something like that, and it was a free giveaway at a GameStop. And of course, there's the Charmander that I have over there that's worth like $50 for the GameStop stamp. So the GameStop stamp seems to be like important to people, right? Whereas like other stamps aren't important. So like, why would this prismatic stamp be important to people versus other stamps? So I want us to compare this card to a different card, and that I think will have a similar thing happen to it. So let's take a look at this. This Jolteon V with this is a prize pack series card. You got this Jolteon for similar things via a similar way as these Jolteons. It's a random chance out of a prize pack card. So now here we are looking at this card individually going for like $25, where, you know, I think even just like 2 months ago, we're looking at $15, or sorry, 3 months ago. If we go to the year view, if we go to the 1 year view, $4. So a lot of this is the prismatic effect that just drove a lot of evolutions skyward and beyond. But I do think there is something to say. Oh gosh, 500% growth is just an insane number. I do think there is something to say, like, okay, so if this was a sleeper card, if these are sleeper cards and they're already sitting at like $7 to $8 on TCG Player, $14 to $15 on price charting, like what are they gonna be at the next Prismatic, right? So like, because these we're looking at these cards for Evolving Skies, and they were sitting at a couple bucks, and then Prismatic shoots them to 500%. So when the next thing that's what's after Prismatic for Evolutions that we look at 5, 6, 7 years from now, what is it? What are we going to be looking at for that? Right. So that's really what I'm saying. Between buying and holding it as a product, I think is just a great move, especially if you're like me, a Jolteon fan who wants sealed Jolteon product, and then I go out and buy the actual stamped cards that I can try to grade so I can get my PSA 10 version of the Jolteon, and have some for loose in my PC. Also, just like, if you don't care about the stamps, being able to buy the box, to open the box, to sell the stamp card, to rip the packs at a lower price. Remember, we try to rip as close to MSRP as possible. If you don't think you can, you should always rip at MSRP if you can. If you can't, get as close as possible. It means selling the hits you don't want. And in Prismatic, there's a lot of hits you don't want. So again, it's a good product. It's a win-win product. I don't see a way for that this product is bad. Maybe you see something I don't see. I'd love to hear from you, and down in the comments, let me know. But yeah, that's this video. Short, quick, to the point. You guys are awesome. Hope you're having a good summer. Thunder Up. They're playing right now. I think it's tie game, quarter 2. Thunder Up. Bye.